What is up, everybody? Today we got a Discipline Priest solo shuffle guide for you. If you're on my channel, I usually twos, but there is one spec in the game that I actually really do like to play shuffle on, and it is Disc Priest. And for some reason in Season 4, it is doing phenomenal. If you take a look at the top of the ladder, it's mostly Disc Priest and Pres Evokers. I was checking that out. I'm like, what the heck is going on? I tried my Disc Priest. I am digging it, man. We got our over 2,400 MMR, crushing it so far. And I'll show you guys what I'm doing, and hopefully you take something away from it. And there is one tip I'm going to give you that is going to change. If you're not thinking about this or actively doing this, this will 100% increase your rating. So stay tuned for that. So first off and foremost, we got our gear. Gear is not changing since last season. The only thing that is up for debate is your haste. Okay, so haste is, I personally like a little more haste. That is going to be up to you. Mastery is most important, verse second most important. Haste is next though. So I personally in PvP have just about 25. I'm going to be getting 25% haste, and then everything else mastery verse. So it's kind of up to you in that boat. I used to play 20% haste last season, but the stats are pretty high. So I think you can get away with pushing a little bit more haste. And if you are playing, around Atonement a bit more, having a little bit more haste is definitely going to be helpful. It reduces the cooldown of your shield, reduces the cooldown of Mind Blast, and then things just feel smoother and able to get deaths off quicker from a shorter GCD. It just feels better. So it's up to you. Some people don't run haste. There's a lot of high rated players that don't run a lot of haste. That's going to be you're up to you. Embellishments, just playing double mastery, so the blue silken zone of focus stuff, and yeah, that's it when it comes to the gearing. Comes to the stats, or it's not stats, whatchamacallit, the talents, apologize. When it comes to the talents, pretty much there isn't really much diversity in the talent builds. From the class side, this is a good starting point here. You can swap things around, like these 3 points, or I swap around. So if I don't need MD, I'll go here. If I do need MD and I might need Move with Grace, I take that. But I do prioritize having double fade reduction. And you do not need to play mind games if you are not playing Twilight Equilibrium, which 99% of Disc Priests do not play this in threes. If you're not playing this, you don't need mind games. I wouldn't even bother. I would just go like this and just keep it simple. But I play Twilight Equilibrium, and that was just what I'm going to explain next. So that's why I play mind games for a shadow spell. Okay, when it comes to the spec tree, I do everything else the same. The typical build is this, which is perfectly fine for you. You absolutely do not need to play Twilight Equilibrium. This is just my personal preference. I like it, and I've noticed a substantial difference in atonement healing when I'm doing this, and this season is more important than ever when it comes to atonement, because the pacing is slower. You're able to do a ton more atonement healing. I'll show you some of these clips, or some of these games here. 30% with some overhealing there. 33%, 46% overheal. Like, I am cranking atonement. Atonement is everything right now. So if you do something you would want to try out, I'll definitely put it out there for you. And when it comes to it, you don't have to overcomplicate it. So just really quick, like, all it really means, if you can, you don't need to do this, but what I sometimes do if I don't need death, or I'll just throw out a death first, throw out a Purge of the Wicked because it's going to get buffed from Twilight Equilibrium, and then just spread it. That's it. Okay, outside of that, every time you penance, you want to Mind Blast or Mind Gains before to buff the penance. That's all it comes down to. Don't overcomplicate it. You don't have to think too much about weaving it perfectly. Every penance, just use a shadow spell before. That is it. Like I said, if you want to go above and beyond, you can try to do it with the Purge of the Wickeds and spread the empowered ones. But at a bare minimum, all you got to do is just which you're almost always doing anyway. Every time you have Mind Blast, you're going to pair it with Penance anyway. So that at a bare minimum do, and you're getting 15% more damage, which is 15% more healing on Atonement. That's a massive buff when you're healing everybody. When you get an empowered Penance with Radiant, with the Harsh Discipline or whatever it's called, you're seeing a very large heal. So it's up to you if you want to try out. You're perfectly okay with just playing Lenience. That's what most people end up playing. PvP talents, yeah. I play Inner Light and Shadow just because, again, atonement based, but you can play Archangel. You can play Catharsis versus like Aflock teams. You can play Strength of Soul into heavy melee lobbies. Double Dispel into like Shadow Priest boomies and stuff like that. That's kind of up to you what you want to throw in there. I personally play this most of the time, and if I do need to swap something, I'll either swap Phase Shift or Inner Light Shadow out, depending on what it is. Other than that, the healing side of things, it's really simple. You just press shield on cooldown, press radiance when you need it, and just do damage. All right. So, you know, if this is my teammate here, I'm pressing shield on him, I'll renew myself. Just keep up the atonements. If your atonement falls off and you don't have a shield up, press renew. And that's about it. When it comes to damage, you just Mind Blast, Purge the Wicked, Mind Blast, spread the penance. And then if you have extra time, you can throw in smites, but don't prioritize it. And then just keep shields up. And that's about it. It takes some practice, but I will tell you this, I've done like coaching with Disc Priest. I watch a lot of Disc Priest play. There is one thing that set Disc Priest apart, and it is not their rotation, okay? And then also, just really quick, the cooldowns, just tip in Soul Shuffle and cooldowns right now, it seems like you really don't need your cooldowns much because healing is so high. I always want to use a Rapture early on, just so that you have it later. So as soon as you see the other team popping all their offensives, just use a Rapture, even if your team's at full health. And then other than that, save your PSs and your Dome for when you really need it, and save Ultimate Penance till the end. Okay, biggest thing here with cooldowns is Ultimate Penance, save it to the end. With dampening being so high, this cooldown is killer in the end of the game. It will save you or win you the game. So please do not use this early, okay? I promise you. Just save this to when shit hits the fan, and you will see good results. All right. That is all. Oh, I forgot kind of where I was going with that. Oh, so rotation is not what set Disc Priest apart. It is the positioning. Everything is positioning. I was playing last night in my stream, and I was commentating what I was doing, and it's just so important, man. It is so important. So I want to show you guys just one quick round here. Quick round. Every round is like 3 minutes. And on how it all works. All right, so as Disc Priest, like I said, the rotation is simple. Keep your dots, spread them with penance. Shield on cooldown. That's it. All right, everything else you need to position in a way not to get CC'd. If you do not get CC'd, you're in a good spot. So at this point here, my teammates did not really help me out by stopping this Paladin. They should have stopped the Paladin with a clone or a fear or a coil or whatever or something. But it's okay. We get hodged. Okay, at this point here, we're just gonna recover. I'm gonna toss out that Rapture, like I said, throw out some penances, and now at this point, my whole goal here is to not get polyed, not get gripped, and not get hodged. So I want to stay max range at all times. Okay, I'm always hugging a pillar, no matter what. There are cases, the only case where you want to push in for a fear, the only case is if the enemy healer is close by and he is already in CC. All right, do not push for fears unless they are already in CC. It's that simple. You will throw the game if you do something otherwise. All right, so at this point here again, we're just hugging the pillar, keeping our dots up, throw out shields, keep up the atonements, and then just penance. And if you have downtime, you know, like I said, you could throw in some smites, throw in Mind Blast in here. I was throwing Mind Blast into Purge of the Wicked, and then a Mind Games, and then penances. So just weaving those shadow schools in. Okay, at this point here, Mage is starting to push up. What should I do? Whoop! Rotate around to the other pillar. Okay, I do not want to expose myself to CC. That is the most important thing. Current state of Disc in this season is, I don't know why, but your healing is feeling spectacular as long as you do not get CC'd. So I'm constantly going to be rotating. Anytime they move up, I move back. Okay, I move at the same pace as them. They move up 10 steps, I move back 10 steps. I always want to stay max range because, as you're going to say, just things are easy. It's such a big difference that you'll notice when you just do this one simple tip. Okay, if you're not already doing it. Again, just rotating. So the team, they push back, I push up. Okay, and now Mage pushes back up. What am I going to do? I'm going to push back again. Okay. So it's literally just like I don't even know what you call that. Like a saw on like a, woo. I don't know a good analogy at this time. But that's about it on here. So I'll just keep it going at this pace. Mage is pushing up. What am I going to do? I could not get away. So what do you think a Mage is going to do here? He's probably going to DB. So you know what should I do? I tried to phase shift first. I didn't get the phase shift. I'm going to death. I get the DB. I instantly fear him. He trinkets it. I just zoom around the pillar. With that said, yeah, don't be greedy with your feathers. Make sure that you're feathering yourself constantly and then using power word shields. Okay, at this point here, I pulled back here because I thought the Paladin may have been coming for me. So I pulled back over there. Paladin pushes back, I can push up. Again, continues. Okay, this is gonna be DK cooldowns here. We're gonna be a little cautious. I'm kind of being a little greedy at this positioning. I should honestly pull back just a little bit more. But we're looking good here. Again, just dotting stuff, keeping those atonements up, shielding on cooldown. And it's not complicated, guys. It's not complicated. It really isn't. The skill in Disc Priest, in Shuffle, is your positioning. The healing itself is not too hard. And like people ask me, do I always penance for damage or healing? Almost always damage. If there are cases where like targets are really low, I will. But in most cases, I'll try not to. This was a greedy position, so this is a great example of what not to do. I tried to death it. Like you can see, I'm trying to click death here, but I must have not have been in range of anything else, so I do get sheeped here. But why did I get sheeped? I pushed up. It's that simple. I fucked up. So this, look what happens. The momentum changes drastically. Now the paladin can push up here. He's trying to go for a Hodge. He gets it. I'm forced to PS. Almost all of my cooldowns are now gone because I just pushed up. So just be patient. You know, the reason I think I pushed up is because I saw some cooldowns coming out from the DK. But there's no reason to be greedy. Okay, so this is a point of the game where I do want to use Ultimate Pendants, like you see here. Teams getting low, make sure that you refresh these beforehand. So shield and flash heal and renew. Don't do it with, if you're gonna do it, Ultimate Pendants with a Radiance Atonement, the Radiance Atonements are pretty short, so you gotta be quick. You gotta instantly Ultimate Radiance right out of that, Ultimate Pendants out of the Radiance. So this is a great opportunity to recover. There's no kick from the mage, so I just go for it here. We're gonna see a good recovery and a lot of pressure via the damage. All right, we're gonna just toss out a dome here. See, the positioning is not very good here. What I gotta do, I gotta rotate back onto that dome, onto that pillar, or that ramp. And I end up just snagging a kill with the little death on there. And do not be afraid, another little tip, because dampening is ramping so high, please do not be afraid to do damage at the end of the game. Your penances being offensive are way more useful than they are defensive. Okay, just knock down that kill. Shadow Word Deaths, you can see they can hit over 100k. You can win the game off of those. So be good with that. And then just another side tip. Talking about the positioning, look what happened here. Look why the other team, I mean, he was out of mana anyway, and I don't know if he had any cooldowns, but he pushed in, he got CC'd, his healer died, his DPS died. You never want to be in front of your DPS, okay? Unless you're pushing in for a fear while the target is CC'd. So like out of a trap, out of a root beam, out of a fear, or out of another fear. I wouldn't overextend too far to DR fear it, but you guys get the point. So that is the one tip that I hope you got out of this, and hope you learned something yourself. I appreciate y'all watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Subscribe to the channel if you like the content. Leave a comment if you got a comment. And peace out, Girl Scout.